Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Battle of the Republic on this Monday evening, a special report coming to you on the heels of the horrific, satanic, evil, murderous Islamic jihadist terrorist attacks in Sri Lanka Easter Sunday morning. At least 290 people have been killed, mostly in churches and in some hotels. An Islamic terror group. Now, I waited for a little bit to make sure that we weren't jumping the gun, but when these kind of terroristic attacks happen on a Sunday, especially Easter Sunday, the suspicion goes to Islamic terror, and now it has been confirmed, probably ISIS related. Definitely, there were some warnings given in Sri Lanka that the authorities did not take seriously about attacks on Easter Sunday morning. But listen to this. Despite this horrific Islamic jihadist terrorist attacks, we continue to see that Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and others refuse to even mention the word Christian or church in their tweets of sympathy. We've seen this before. Of course, if there is an attack against Muslims, we always point out that it's a white person. It's an alleged Christian. Of course not. But if it's an attack on the church, attack on Christians, Christians are seldom mentioned. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama both refused to mention the word church or Christians and referred to the people that were killed as Easter worshipers. Are we worshiping Easter? Of course not. Instead, they instead of calling them churches or Christians or worshipers of Christ or those who are celebrating the resurrection of Christ, they called them Easter worshipers. Even worse, perhaps, they typically refused to mention the fact that the thugs, these murderous pagans, were Islamic terrorists. Brings up the fact again that there's very little news, very little mention of the fact that thousands of Christians are being killed every year in Nigeria by Boko Haram, again, another Islamic jihadist terrorist group. You need to pick up my book, Why American Patriots Must Elect Donald Trump, because in it you'll find a chapter that details the fact that Donald Trump understands the threat of Islam. Why? Donald Trump understands what I delineated in one of the chapters of this book. The problem is most people think that Islam is simply another religion, a religious idea. It's not. It's a political and ideological and legislative authority. All those who are promoting Islam are also promoting Sharia law. Let me just give you a little breakdown of what is Sharia law, what it's all about. Criticizing or denying any part of the Quran under Sharia law, under Muslim law, is punishable by death. Criticizing Muhammad or denying that he is a prophet is punishable by death. Theft, punishable by amputation of the right hand. A Muslim who becomes a non-Muslim is punishable by death. A non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is punishable by death. A non-Muslim man who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death. A man can marry an infant girl and sexually consummate the marriage when she is 9 years old. Gets that idea from Muhammad himself. A girl's clitoris should be cut. That, again, is according to Muhammad's words. A woman can have one husband under Sharia law. A man can have up to 4 wives. A man can beat his wife for disobedience or insubordination. A man can unilaterally divorce his wife. A woman needs her husband's consent to divorce. A divorced wife loses custody of all children over 6 years of age, or when they become 6 years of age or older, she loses custody of them back to the Muslim former husband. Testimony of 4 male witnesses are required to prove rape against a woman. A woman who has been raped cannot testify in court against her rapists. Muslims should engage in taqiyya and lie to non-Muslims to advance Islam. In other words, if you talk to a Muslim, ask them about Sharia law, they will deny that any of this is part of Sharia law, and that lying is allowed in Islamic doctrine. It's known as taqiyya. Now, let me point out that at least under 3 of these mandates, under 3 of these mandates, yours truly, myself, this pastor, would be punishable by death under Sharia law. I would be stoned or hung or beheaded under Sharia law because of my rejection of Sharia law, my rejection of Muhammad, my rejection of Islam. We need to support Donald Trump. We need to pray for Christians under Sharia law. We need to pray that America will wake up. Instead of us being worried about bombings and World Trade Centers and 911s again, now we need to be concerned about Islamists in the United States Congress. God help us to wake up. God help us to turn this nation around. And let's pray for Sri Lanka. Pray for Nigeria. Pray for all those Christians that are suffering and persecuted under Sharia law and Islamic dictators and jihadists. We need to pray for God's grace and victory in our nation and in our world. Continue to support Donald Trump. Continue to support Republicans as we try to turn this nation back, as we're in this severe battle for the republic and for the nation that God has blessed us with. Love you all. Just wanted to bring you this update and this report. God bless.